Long gone are the days of despicable villains in Pokémon, and I don't mind the shift towards more sympathetic villains, as that gives them nuance. The issue is that the last 3 teams have just been misunderstood outcasts, which ends up absolving them of any consequences for their earlier actions and erases that nuance. Yet the Rust Syndicate is the first evil team since Team Plasma that occupies the moral grey zone in the franchise. This is due to them taking heavy influence from the Yakuza, who certainly occupy the grey zone in reality as they're criminals with a code. The Rust Syndicate are also criminals, at least as far as a Pokémon game is willing to depict, with them employing predatory loan shark behavior against you and your friends and forcing you into servitude. But they're also portrayed as deeply protective of their community, with them helping out citizens in need and making Lumiose a safer place. What's critical is that the game never excuses their exploitative behavior and redeems Corbo. It keeps him as a man with deeply held convictions that disagrees with the authoritative figures running the city. This naturally draws a comparison to the Like a Dragon series, where the Yakuza work in place of the police for citizens that the higher-ups deem expendable. The morality of the Yakuza varies based on who's the head of the clan, but in the Rust Syndicate's case, Corbo is certainly someone with a deeply held love for his community, but also little sympathy for anyone not allied with him. What separates the Rust Syndicate from previous sympathetic teams is how the game resolves their arc. It doesn't just pull a surprise twist and say they were secretly good the whole time. Once you earn Corbo's respect, he spends an entire day doing an act in order to justify his kindness. This shows the character's conviction, which builds a respect from the player, as honor is inherently respectable. But it also creates the same positive outlook you'd get from a sympathy villain, as Corbo is genuinely apologizing for his actions. Yet as their storyline continues, it doesn't show that he's gained empathy for the unaffiliated. He's still openly hostile to Jacinth and those who would cause his community harm, so he undoubtedly still preys on the desperate people with his loan shark practices, but the game has proven that money and power aren't his primary goals, and whilst he may not swallow his pride, he shows remorse or gratitude in his own way. The reason this arc works so well is that it treats the player like an adult. Characters like Team Star are written for kids who have been bullied at school. As such, it has to simplify the narrative so it can resonate with their underdeveloped media literacy. The Rust Syndicate shows genuine nuance and asks the player to form their own conclusions over their morality. Corbo knows what he's doing is morally wrong, yet the motivations for these actions, protection, is a pure one, creating a moral tension not seen in this series since the days of Team Plasma.